Last time I gave you a little background about the seasons as were presented by Kalidas, the complete cycle of the year, and I think this is the only place in the entire English literature where the seasons are fully described. Fully described. Now there is a fundamental difference between the approach of Kalidas and the approach of Sri Aurobindo. You immediately see that in the case of Kalidas, the description is of course lyrical, very sweet, very enchanting, very absorbing also, but it borders on the sensuous, almost at times on the erotic. In contrast to that, in Savitri, it lifts you up to a different psycho-spiritual status, the whole description. And it has also the mystical connotation. It is not season for the sake of season, but the entire spiritual evolutionary possibility which is present in time, it is that which kind of gets summed up in this description. That is one point. Well, let me, for the sake of briefness, tell you that in the case of Kalidas, we have in all 144 stanzas of the seasons, and there are long descriptions which run into several pages there. Whereas in Savitri, the descriptions are somewhat uneven. See, the length which is given to each season is not the same. It is very uneven. The opening season, summer, is described in just 4 lines. In contrast to that, the next season, rain, has 44 lines. Then these next 3 seasons, autumn, winter, and frost, they are all sort of disposed of in 24 lines. But the place of pride goes to spring, and it has 47 lines. So the description is really not even in that sense, with 44 lines of spring. Now, therefore, we have, as far as seasons are concerned, in all 108, 119 lines. Total number of lines for the season, 6 seasons is 119 lines, plus the introductory part, introducing the season, has a description of 19 lines. Or in other words, the total canto, the total section describing the season runs into 138 lines. Total season in all. Now, as a little example, before we proceed with the text here, I have picked up from Kalidas's Rutu Samhara. Rutu Samhara. Samhara means collection of season or the pageant of season. Rutu means season. Actually, the word Rutu has a deeper Vedic significance. It is a rhythm of time in the transcendent, which is what Rutu means. The rhythm of time in the transcendent. The rhythm, you see, means it is the movement of truth in its own domain of truth. That is what truth means. Rutu means. In fact, there is a difference, as I told you last time, between truth and right. The word which is used for Rutu in English is at times right. Truth and right. Or in Sanskrit, Satya, Satyam and Rutam. Satyam is a kind of a static aspect of the truth of its existence. That is Satyam. Whereas Rutam is a dynamic aspect of the transcendent. So the moment is what comes out in the Ritu. So from that word Ritu, the word Ritu Samhara or seasons comes here, or Ritam comes in our daily language. You see. So here, when Kalidas is describing, well, the date of Kalidas is a little uncertain. We cannot really pin down to what period he belonged, but roughly we can say that he belongs to what is called a classical age of Sanskrit literature, about 1500 years ago, around 500 or so, that period you see. And at that time, the Sanskrit poetry had gone through numerous stages and it had come to the lyrical and sensuous level. Earlier we had the Vedic poetry, then we had the Upanishadic poetry, then we had the Puranic poetry, like that. It went through number of stages. And during the Kalidasa period, we see that there is a sudden bursting of the lyrical aspect of poetry in Sanskrit. And that is what we have. He is the master of that. Similes, descriptions, and all that. Now, I will just read first what he speaks about this summer, Kalidas. In fact, I will give his stanza. It is a very good translation in English by somebody who knew Sanskrit very well and who is a poet also in English. And that was perhaps about 100 years ago by one of the Indologists. I don't have his name here. He has done this translation of the Samar in English. Now, the first opening stanza of the summer, the word for summer is Grishma in Sanskrit, Grishma, and it means really hot. You see, Grishma. See, the word itself has that connotation of heat. You see. Now, he translates it like this: pitiless heat from heaven pours. That is the summer. Pitiless heat from heaven pours by day. During the day, the pitiless heat flows from heaven. But nights are cool. That is the contrast. Not in Pondicherry, but in the interiors, you see. Pondicherry were governed by the sea, you see. So, pitiless heat from heaven pours by day, but nights are cool. Continual bathing gently lowers. Because of the heat, you constantly keep on bathing, taking bath in the pool of, in the pond or whatever it is. It's constant. Continual bathing gently lowers the water in the pool. The level of water goes down because of constant constant bathing, you see. The evening brings a charming peace. It's true. In the interior, the evenings are really very charming. You go and sleep on the terrace and very pleasant, look at the stars and sky. Like that. The evening brings a charming peace, for summertime is here. This is what happens in the summertime. When love that never knows surcease. Surcease means we never know the end. Love that never knows surcease is less imperious, dear, is not so powerful, so overwhelming in the night. So already you can see the sensuous element entering into the poetic description. He has done a very good translation on the whole, I must say that, and all rhymed lines, you see. Pitiless heat from heaven pours by day, but nights are cool. Continual bathing gently lowers the water in the pool. The evening brings a charming peace, for summertime is here, when love that never knows surcease is less imperious, dear. He is addressing to his beloved. In fact, the whole Ritu Samhar is the description of the lover to his beloved. It goes on in that tone, you see. He describes all these seasons in that manner, you see. Now, in contrast to that, we have a very different sort of a description in Savitri. Now, first let us read that and then we'll go back. the 193.6 opening sentence, opening stanza.
Across the burning.
Yeah, that is what all the summary is about, isn't it, Savitri? Across the burning languor of the soil, is summer with its pomp of violent noons, and stamped his tyranny with torrid light, and the blue seal of a great burnished sky. Suddenly you can see the difference in poetry. Don't you feel that? You feel a difference suddenly, you see that. Across the burning languor of the soil, soil is listless, without any activity. Across the burning languor because of hot heat, summer heat. Paced summer is moving fast. Paced summer with its pomp of violent noons, one after the other noons are coming and they are following the summer. That is it. Pomp of violent noon and stamped his tyranny. Yes, I am here, I am here, I am here. That is what the summer is saying all the while, tyranny. Stamped his tyranny of torrid light and the blue seal of a great burnished sky. The sky is as if polished, buffed, very clear. See, buffed, you see, burnished sky. Blue seal is all blue. There are no clouds, nothing. You see. So this is the sort of description you have in Savitri. Now, before coming to summer, we have these introductory lines. Let us quickly go back to the beginning and read them. A minute of the cycles of desire, around the light she must not dare to touch, hastening towards a far of unknown goal. Earth followed the endless journey of the sun. As I told you last time, it is the capital sun. So this is, at once you can see a mystical image. Earth and sun, they are tied together. Now, of course, there is something interesting from the astronomical point of view. See, until recent times, before Newton, people were all the while saying that it is the sun which moves around the earth. Heliocentry, see, with that, see, it is the sun, geocentry. It is the sun which moves around the earth. And Bible went to such an extent that it ostracized everybody who opposed that view until then. Then later on came Newton and he says, no, it is the earth which moves around the sun, the planetary system, and the whole thing fell into places, the astronomical observations. But comes Shivandu, and he says that it is neither the sun which moves around the earth, nor the earth moving around the sun. They move around each other. You can't say this or that, you see. They move around each other. This is what we have here. Earth and sun. When he's describing that, it is that kind of a thing. In other words, there is a sort of an intimate relationship between the two. Although astronomically it may look to you like that, there is a sort of an intimate relationship between the two, that through that moment something is going to be achieved. It is a purposeful movement of their relationship also, and it is that which is being carried forward in time. Time in the cyclic manner, in the periodic manner, going round and round and round and round. Because it is through the cycles that the things will move forward. That's the whole idea. So it is actually the relationship between earth and the sun. You know, in that little book, The Mother, Shivandu makes a remark, earth is a significant center. The phrase which is used is significant center of the universe. Significant center of the universe. The word is significant center. Now obviously we know, of course through him and through the mother, that significant center is because in the entire material creation, the whole cosmos, material world, galaxies and galaxies and galaxies, it is only on earth that there is the presence of the psychic being. Earth itself or herself had the psychic being, and it is that which indeed makes Earth a significant center. So if you see from that angle, indeed it is the sun which is moving around the Earth. Because it is the significant, it is a psychic thing which has to move forward, it has to move on also. See, if you see from that metaphysical point of view, spiritual point of view, from the occult angle, it is a psychic being which has to move forward, has to evolve and go. And when he is describing now the seasons, it is the aspect of that psychic development of evolution being carried forward, which is to be seen in the entire passage here. I mean, therefore, Earth is in a frenzy, like a woman, a minard, as you say. A minard cycles of desire around the light she must not dare to touch. Hastening towards a far off unknown goal, Earth followed the endless journey of the sun. It is the sunlit path which the Earth is following. It is really the sunlit path of the psychic being. A mind but half awake in the swaying with the void. Now, in the swaying with the void, he is immediately telling you in one single phrase how the whole thing has come into existence here. It is from the void, from nothing, from the inconscience. In fact, inconscience is a much greater and a richer state than the absolute void. You imagine something totally absent to begin with. Nothing, shunya, I would call it. Out of that, something has happened and inconscience came into existence. So inconscience itself is, in a certain sense, the first evolutionary manifestation of things to happen here. Out of inconscience then came matter, then other things, life, mind, and etc. etc. This is what it means. So he says, swaying with the void, out of that things have started happening here. In other words, the entire metaphysical connotation is present in the single phrase. A mind but half awake, this is what we are. We are in a half awakened state, mental state. On the bosom of the inconscious dreamed out life, and both this finite world of thought and deed across the immobile trance of the infinite. Immobile trance of the infinite. He is lying there, static, without any activity, the infinite. And out of that, this movement has started taking place of mind, of life, and further on later on. So in one stanza, in 4 lines, he has swept through the entire course of evolution. And both the finite world of thought and deed across the immobile trance of the infinite, he has taken the position. In fact, according to the Indian tradition, it is Vishnu. He himself has taken the position in the inconscience. He is lying there on a 1,000-hooded serpent. That is the iconographical description of Vishnu. 1,000-hooded serpent is there and he is resting on that. You must have seen those things, perhaps some images. Now, obviously, there are also mystical images. They are full of connotations. 1,000-hooded serpent. Serpent is energy. And it has 1,000 aspects of manifestation of energy. It is on that he is resting. And it is that which then becomes the base for further things to happen. Because he is present there, the evolution is possible. In the mother's world, she says that there is a total void. And when the horror of this void was seen, she said, she used the word, the horror of this void was seen, the Supreme plunged into it. the Supreme plunged into it. And it is he who has stationed himself in the void. He is that inconscient Vishnu, or what the mother calls it, he is the avatar. The first avatar is the Supreme's plunge into the void. And that avatar then becomes the base for all these further things to happen in the course of evolution. Had that not happened, evolution would not have been possible. That is what it means basically. Now, how the horror takes place, why, that is another aspect of the story. That we will not go into that thing, you see. But that she has narrated also in what she calls the story of creation, you see. She has narrated that also, you see. But that is another aspect. Maybe in another context we can come back to that thing, you see. But at the moment, let us assume that it is so. In fact, she goes one step farther, the mother. It is the Supreme who has plunged into the horror. She calls that presence of the Supreme in the horror as the first avatar. And then she goes further and says, yes, he is Satyavan. She says he is Satyavan who is seated in that horror there.
Does she say that?
Yeah, yes, she says that. Satyavan, he is there. And the entire story of Savitri then becomes sort of clear. It is Savitri who is going to rescue Satyavan from that condition. He is now in the grip of that, in the grip of death. And the only one who can release him from the grip is divine Shakti, divine power, divine force, divine himself as the feminine who can come and do that. And therefore Savitri's coming here is in that context to remove the grip of death which is there on the soul of Satyavan. So all these things is indirectly or indirectly, you see, you have to have all that background when you are reading these lines because they are connotated of all those significances, you see. A mind half awake in the swaying of the void, on the bosom of inconscience, dreamed out life, and both the finite world of thought and deed across the immobile trance of the infinite. See, immobile trance of the infinite is, these are very pregnant phrases. It means all those things now, see. A vast, immutable silence rang with earth. So earth is moving in the sky, in the open spaces, in the akash. All silent, there is no activity as such in that. A vast, immutable silence with her ran, prisoner of speed upon a jeweled wheel. She communed with a mystic heart in space. She has identified herself with this creation, with space and time. She herself is in time and she is identifying in space. So, the divine soul in the nature of evolution who has taken the form of the earth, it is that which is now present in space and time. She communed with a mystic heart in space, amid the ambiguous stillness of the stars. Now this is the picture of the whole sky for the beginning. Amid the ambiguous stillness of the stars, she moved towards some undisclosed event. Earth is moving constantly. She does not know, so to say, at the moment, where she is going, what she is going to achieve. She has no idea. Undisclosed event. And a rhythm measured a long world of time. It is in cycles of time that the span, the epochs, the yugas are measured constantly. And a rhythm measured a long world of time. Now, undisclosed event is of course reminiscent of the divine event which is there on the very first page.
Exactly, I was just looking.
Line 3. Across the path of the divine event, the huge opening mind. Second line. 1.1. Okay, yeah, yes.
No. That was the path of the divine.
1.1.
Oh, and the first.
Sorry, 1.2. 1.2.
1.2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just across the path of the divine. That's just very.
Across the path of divine event, the huge foreboding mind of night alone.
1.1. Yeah, the first. Across the path of the divine.
And then he says later on, in the very same sentence, in the same page, he says, earth will be abandoned in the hollow worlds. (1.6).
Oh, earth wheels abandoned in hollow
Hollow
times.
Forgetful of a spirit and a fate. Now, all these things are connected, you see here, they're not there for the day, you see. Now, of course, we know across the path of the divine event, and he talks of here the same thing, undisclosed event. See, now here in this picture we have already very clearly, this picture is very close to what we are seeing here, 1.6. Athwart the vain, enormous trance of space, is formed a stupor without mind or life. See? A shadow spinning into a soulless void, thrown back once more into unthinking dreams, earth will abandoned in the hollow gulls, forgetful of spirit and of fate. The impassive skies were neutral, empty, still. So we have got the same description here in a certain sense, you see.
Thrown back once more means
Yeah?
not the first time it happened.
No, it's not the first time.
Thrown
Once more,
back
exactly.
once
Once
more.
more. That's
Again.
right. That's right. Again. Yeah. That's
Thrown
right.
back again.
Yeah.
From
It happened. It happened. This.
I have a question regarding the opening of the Savitri. This darkness, this void, is already a first manifestation. It's a pre-manifestation.
You can say. You can say the first manifestation in a certain sense.
In a certain sense.
In a certain sense. It's not wrong to say that. You see, after all, it is the Supreme Himself who has emptied Himself out, and that is the first manifestation.
Yes. First.
Yeah, but now you could say that that is the basis for things to happen further.
Exactly.
So you take that thing as a 0 point and then say first manifestation, second manifestation. The first manifestation after that void is the inconscience.
Yes.
In that,
Yes.
But what you say is true. In fact, he says of two nothingnnesses. The first and the last nothingness on the very first page. On the very first page, he says the first and the last nothingness. See, a fathomless, okay, let us read this thing. A fathomless zero occupied the world. Shunya.
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 Yeah.
Zero occupied. A power of fallen, boundless self awake between the first and the last nothingness.
Yeah, this is.
Frightening, yeah?
Yes.
And all those in between.
Yeah, this seems to be something which is creepy. Maybe it's an accident. Yeah.
But you see, in two sentences, he has kind of summarized the whole of light divine.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the power of poetry. You see. Now, what he says is a power of fallen, boundless self awake. He talks of self. Self is the part corresponding to consciousness or being. Power corresponds to the aspect of consciousness force, Shakti. So, the being has plunged here into the void, and it is his power which is taking things forward. He is now sleeping there. And she has to carry on the work. So, the work is being carried out by the power. And he is only the support, the adhara, the base for things to happen. For things to happen. A power of fallen, boundless self, he is already boundless. between the first and the last nothingness. What is the first nothingness? This is of course what we are saying in the last nothing, where he has totally emptied himself out. The first nothingness is the absolute, the non-manifest, the ineffable, which is not there, total non-manifest.
And the last
He-
nothingness?
But also empty of the
That's
divine.
empty. He is
Empty of
there,
divine
but he has
also.
not brought out anything out. Therefore, he is empty.
But why there is a nothingness after?
This is because he has not brought himself out in any way. He has totally remained within himself.
But it's not blissful.
Huh?
It is not blissful.
It may be, so we don't know.
But the divine is full of
because-
bliss in
no,
himself
but
and
the-
manifest, but blissful and
No,
peaceful.
no,
and
he has not brought out any quality. He is there, self-absorbed. So whether it is in bliss or agony or suffering, that also we don't know. We can't say that. No.
Can we say that? Can we say that the divine is able to create an anti-divine, almost?
Yeah, well, this is what it wants. See, basically, there are three stages. One is the absolute or the total non-manifest. Total non-manifest. Nothing of it has come out. The Indian word for non-manifest or absolute is avyakta, who has not expressed himself in any way. Vyakta. He has not expressed himself anywhere in any way. That is the nothingness. Now, out of that, then the last nothingness came. He emptied himself out again, so to say. And he became the opposite of that thing. So that's a little, as I said, we'll come back again, again to that.
Yeah. But when he says again, once more,
Now that is from the last nothingness, from the void.
Is this, has that something to do with the pralaya?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. This is the seventh creation, as the mother says. There were 6 pralayas,
Yes.
and this is the seventh creation.
So they each take
Yeah,
endless amount of
that's
time.
right. And the mother said that this creation, of course, I mean, she has said, she even also said in one of his letters that there will be no more pralaya afterwards. This is the last state, he said. And obviously, we can say, because the supermind has now descended. When that thing is here now, there is no question of pralaya or dissolution.
Exactly.
It may go through difficult stages and all that, but there is no question of dissolution now.
So no more nothingness.
No more dissolution. This is
That was the last thing. Already
The
been
last
mentioned.
one was
actually, we are safe now. Yeah.
This is why I don't know. I've always, whenever I read this first passage here, I've always understood that between the first and the last nothingness, it's almost like the mind of this unconscious expecting that there will be another nothingness. It's not necessarily the divine.
No, whatever you want to call it. Basically, the creator or whatever you want to call it, it is something who has not manifested at all. That is the first nothingness.
Yeah.
First nothing. The last nothingness is after manifestation, he has become Satchidananda, he has become overmind, he has become this, etc., and emptied himself out totally and became the last nothingness.
Again.
Again,
Yes.
Again nothing.
for the purposes of a creation.
So it's all for nothing.
For nothing. No, that is important. You see, that emptying himself out is important. See, for instance, if he does not empty himself out, and suppose there is a creation in Satchidananda. In fact, there are creations in Satchidananda
Yes,
also,
of course,
in
yes.
the transcendent.
So-
There are. Now, the trouble there is, I mean, there is no real separation, there is no division between this and that, because everybody knows everything. It's kind of open secret to everybody. There is no concretization, there is no individualization of things. The individualization, if it has to take place, it can happen only by separating yourself from that thing totally.
Yeah.
And this is the process of individualization, of empty yourself out fully, become the last nothingness, and start as individuals. As individuals. So, if you want the individualization to take place, perhaps this is the only process by which things can happen.
So last nothingness would again relate to pralaya.
No, now this is
That was over. That's the last one is over now. It doesn't happen again.
Now there's no more pralaya.
Not for our universe.
Yeah, huh?
Because it refers to pertaining to our universe
Our
or
universe.
our creation.
Of the creation. Of the
The
creation.
whole creation
Of the whole
means
creation.
there may be more universes.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh,
Total. Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah. You see, later on, of course, there are many questions. All right, Earth is a significant center. Earth will do, etc., etc. Evolution take place. Then there are many questions also. What happens to the other material objects in the sky?
Exactly.
Shivananda says that we should see later.
Yeah.
In the light design, he says about that. You see. At the moment, the concern is the evolutionary process on the Earth. In other words, there will be other, they are there not for nothing. All these millions and millions of stars or whatever objects are there, they are not there for nothing. Each one may have its own individual characteristic which has to come out in its divine way. And that can happen when things on the earth get established first. So that becomes the significant center from that angle. If a certain star has its own character, in order to bring out that full divine quality of it, is a possibility, and that possibility can materialize when things happen first on the earth. So in that sense, earth is really a significant center. Geocentricity has a real meaning from that angle. But that is a spiritual geocentricity, not the physical. Okay, now he says, we're going back over amid the ambiguous stillness of the stars, obviously ambiguous stillness of the stars, she moved towards some undisclosed event, and her rhythm measured a long world of time. Long, obviously, through various stages, she has to go on and on and on, you see, world of time, cyclic time, difficulties. In ceaseless motion round a purple rim, purple, she uses the word purple purposefully. You see, purple is the color of royalty, is the color of life force, vitality, purple, vitality, life force. It is that which has to get first actuated in creation, vitality. In fact, you must have heard of, no, purple is the color of majesty, of royalty, of richness, of greatness. Purple sails of Cleopatra. You heard of that?
Yeah.
On the Nile, her boat is decorated with purple sails, you see. That's the color of royalty, of richness, of life, you see.
Easter dress.
Pardon?
The Easter dress in the Roman Church.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Purple rim. See, each word has all those richnesses, connotations. In serious motion round the purple rim, day after day, sped by like colored spokes. So as if it is a wheel, is spokes there, and day after each day means in other words, this wheel has 365 spokes. You see. In ceaseless motion round the purple rim, day after day sped by like colored spokes, and through a glamour of shifting hues of air. Constantly the scene is changing. Today is golden, tomorrow is purple, tomorrow is orange, red. It keeps on changing constantly. Glamour, attraction, charm, beauty, love, all those things are there in the glamour. And through a glamour of shifting hues of air, the seasons drew in, linked the significant dance. So they are moving as if in a dance, all the seasons, going around in rotation. The symbol pageant of the changing year. So this is the pageant, this is the way in which the things unroll here. It is sort of an illustration. The symbol pageant of the changing year. Changing year is not the year which is changing, but Within the year, all the cycles are changing, constantly changing year. In other words, it is the changing year. Changing is an adjective for year, which is what is called the what is the technical word? It corresponds to the symbol, the pageant, changing pageant of the year.
No, the seasons.
Basically, it means transferred metaphor, transferred adjective. This adjective is called a transferred adjective. It belongs to actually the pageant and not to year. It is changing pageant of the year. This poetical is a poetic technique. It's called a transferred epithet.
But why? The year also keeps changing.
No, that's a poetic technique. That's way of saying it is not the year which is changing. It is the pageant which is changing.
Exactly.
You got it or difficulty? It's called transferred epithet.
Well, I won't remember that word.
Pardon?
I won't remember that word.
Transferred epithet. The symbol pageant of the changing year. You see, year is a singular year, see?
Exactly. Yeah.
But within that year, it is changing.
Yeah, but what is changing? Not the year. It is the pageant which is changing.
Year is not changing through the seasons?
The
No,
year,
a year is a year. Everything in the year is changing.
it is the
It's
pageant
not
of
one
the
year
year.
the same. But they're all a year.
I can be changing. No, I stay myself, but I'm changing.
Yeah. That happens to be here.
That's considered transferred.
Year is a kind of a fixed thing, a pattern. It consists of all these things. You see. Consists of all these things. But within that year, things are changing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it is that thing which is pageant which is changing. You see.
Winter is always in a different part of the year.
See, you can take a simple example, the changing day. Now, you have got morning, afternoon, evening, etc. No, it is not the day which is changing, it is the thing within the day which is changing.
The changes that make the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, one can say it like that.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a poetic technique of what is called a transferred epithet. You see. Then comes across the burning languor of the soil. Now the description of the season proper begins. After this introduction, you can take another copy if you like. Across the burning languor of the soil. Languor, the soil is lying listless without any activity, dull, so to say. Burning, still very hot, of course, day. Pace summer, it is form of violent noons. So now here, summer means noon after noon, day after day. It means obviously violent noon, and stamped tyranny of torrid light, and the blue seal of a great burnished sky. Sky is as if polished, clear, absolutely. Buffed, buffing after buffing, you get shine on the metals, vessels. Then comes the description of the rain tide. It's one of the longest descriptions, rain tide, 44 lines. See. Well, let me first read what we have in Kalidasa's translation about the rain. Then we'll read these 44 lines. He says, the rain advances like a king.
King.
Like a king. King. The way the king advances, in that manner the rain is advancing. His army, his retinue, or whatever you call it, they are moving and he is going on, you see.
Army.
The rain advances like a king in awful majesty. With all his pomp and glory, the rain is going. Hear, dearest, how his thunders ring. The way the thunders ring. Hear that thing he is telling to his beloved. Hear, dearest, how his thunder's ring, means that king of the ring, like a royal drums, the way the drums ring, see, like royal drum, and see his lightning banners wave. When the king is moving, the banners are moving around like that. You imagine the procession of the king with all these things. You see. His lightning banners wave. A cloud for elephant he rides. Who is the vehicle of the king? The elephant. And that elephant is nothing but a cloud. You see. Yeah. A cloud for elephant he rides, and finds his welcome from the crowd. Everybody around him, they welcome him. The king, you see, welcome. From the crowd of lovers and of brides. Who are in the crowd? The lovers and the brides. They are welcoming him. You see. So that is how Kalidas would describe the rainy season. He is moving like a king, Raja, you see, with all the retinue. Now here we have a totally different kind of a picture in Savitri. Next, through his fiery soul or plotted knot, rain tide burst in upon tall wings of heat, as if the wings have been torn off by the heat. See, the moment there is rain, then suddenly you have the less heat, as if the wings of heat have been torn. Somewhere here, somewhere there, not everywhere.
It breaks the heat.
Yeah, very picturesque. Rain tide burst in upon tall wings of heat, startled with lightnings, airs, unquiet drowse. The air was not, now it's not quiet anymore. Unquiet drowse. Lashed with life-giving stream, the torpid soil, overcast with flare and sound and storm in the dark, the star-defended toes of heavens dim sleep, or from the gold eye of a paramour, covered with packed cloud veils the earth's brown face. So, earth is the paramour of the lover, or from the gold eye of her paramour, covered with packed cloud veils. See, somewhere here there will be cloud veils, and it is covered. Veil the earth's brown face. This is the description of the paramour. Now there is a very interesting reference to paramour in Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream. Yeah, he talks of very interestingly there. Certainly, he is the smartest working man in Athens. He is describing a person who is in Athens. He is smartest. That person is in Athens. Certainly, he is the smartest working man in Athens. Yes, the best looking. And his voice is a paramour of sweetness. This man's voice is a paramour of sweetness. Very, very delicate, very beautiful simile, you see. He's so loving, so charming, and as if they are lovers. The sweetness and his speech, the voice, as if they are lovers of each other, you see. And his voice is the paramour of sweetness. So they look very abstract, voice and sweetness, but then they have become concrete, and they have become lovers of each other. You see, overcast with flare and sound, and storming the dark. The star-defended doors of heaven's dim sleep, or from the gold eye of her paramour, covered with packed cloud veils, there's brown face. Armies of revolution crowd at time feet. Now, monsoon, when it comes in gusts, day after day, it keeps on. In fact, the whole simile now from these two sentences is the simile of a battlefield. Armies of revolution cross the time field. The clouds unending march besiege the world. Tempest pronunciamentos claim the sky, and thunderdrums announce the battle gods. So now it is the battle cry which is being called pronunciamentos. That is the proclamation of yes, I am the master now here. That is the proclamation, announcement. Yes, I have come. I am the master. Everything is in my possession now. Pronunciamentos. See, it's one of the biggest words in Savitri. So, and of course, the stress falls on mentos, pronunciamentos. You see, pronunciamentos.
It looks like Italian.
Pardon?
It looks Italian.
Come from Latin.
No, it's Spanish. More Spanish.
Oh, Spanish.
More
But
Spanish.
it
Yeah.
come from Latin, no? Probably.
Latin, more Spanish. Actually, you must have heard pronunciamentos of Spanish Civil War, 1936. They made a declaration. Yes, the rebellions. They come and declare, you see.
Comes with a lot of popular.
More Spanish.
Let's use it.
Tempest pronunciamentos claim the sky. And thunder means, in other words, there is a kind of a rebellious march going on. And they are going to conquer things. The rain. And thunder drums announce the embattled gods. All the gods are now trapped in that. They are on. A traveler from unquiet neighboring seas. He is a traveler coming from unquiet. The sea is turbulent in the rainy season. And he is coming there. From neighboring seas, the dense made monsoon road neighing through earth's hours. One of the longest lines in Savitri. To utter that whole line in one breath is difficult. The dense made monsoon road neighing through earth's hours. See, here you got all are practically monosyllabic words except to monsoon and neighing. And he's coming like a horse with his mane tossed around. You see. Dense mane, monsoon, road, neighing through earth's hours. Take now the emissary javelins. Mission javelins. They have been given some kind of time. Enormous lightning split the horizon's rim. That is what happens at night. And hurled from quarters as from contending caps. Married heaven's edges, steep and bare and blind. A surge and hiss and onset of huge rain. The long straight sleet adrift, clamorous of windstorm charge, throngs of wind faces, rushing of wind feet, hurrying swept through the prone afflicted plains. Heaven's waters trailed and dribbled to the drowned land. That is how the rains come, you see.
It's incredible
Pardon
how he paints with the sounds.
Yeah, sound also, yeah.
The image is given.
And see how many big words he has used. At the same time, each one is practically monosyllabic and very heavy words, bringing the density of monsoon. All the words are, see, clamors of wind, storm, charge, monosyllabic, everything. Thrust. Throngs of wind faces, rushing of wind feet, you see. Hurrying swept through the prone, afflicted place. The place are lying, but then they are rushing through the plains. Heaven's waters trailed and dribbled to the drowned land. Drop it, let coming. Then all was a swift stride, a sibilant race, or all was tempest, shout, and waters fall. So that is the tempest of the waters fall caused. A dimness sagged on the grey floor of day. So that is how the rays are coming down, and now on the floor of the day. Its dingy, sprawling length joined morn to eve. So, whole day from morning to evening goes on the raining oil. Its dingy, sprawling length joined morn to eve, wallowing in sludge and shower, it reached black dark. Day a half darkness wore as dull dress. So that is the dress with the light looked into dawn's tarnished glass. That is what happened. You look into the glass, it is tarnished glass, all dark. Tarnished glass. And met its own face there. Yes, I have become dark here. That is what the light says. Twin to a half-lit night. So he has become now a twin to night itself. Night is half-lit, day is also practically dark because of the rain and clouds. Downpour and drip and seeping mist swayed all and turned dry soil to bog and reeking mud. Earth was a quagmire, heaven a dismal block. None saw through dank, drenched weeks the dungeon sun. Through week after week, it's all overcast, clouds, rain. You don't see the sun at all. So the sun is as if imprisoned in the cell there, in the dungeon. None saw through dank, drenched weeks the dungeon sun. Even when no turmoil vexed air's somber rest, or a faint ray glimmered through weeping clouds, as a sad smile gleams veiled by returning tears, all promised brightness failed at once, denied, or soon condemned, died like a brief-lived hope. The way the hope, which is very, very fragile, so to say, dies very shortly, in a short time, or soon condemned, died like a brief-lived. I mean, sometimes you say sunlight, suddenly, and suddenly it again disappears because of the clouds and all that. This simile we have seen last time. As a sad smile gleams, veiled by returning tears. It's a very delicate kind of simile. A sad smile is returning, is gleaming to the veil of the clouds. I think we'll read all this passage together, this rainy summer and rain together. All right?
The reason is difficult to
No, we'll try.
get.
You do it very well. I don't know.
No, we'll go on together, whatever possible. You're hesitate?
Well, you can do it.
Let's do it. We can try. I will read in low voice. Let me hear your voices. Across the burning languor of the soil.
Faced summer with his pomp of violent noons, and stamped his tyranny of torrid light, and the blue sea of a great burnished sky. Next, through its fiery swoon or clotted knot, rain tide burst in upon torn wings of heat, startled with lightning's air's unquiet drowse, lashed with life-giving streams the torrid soil, overcast with flare and sound and storm-winged dark, the star-defended doors of heaven's dim sleep.
Of the
Gold eye of her paramour, covered with packed cloud veils the earth's brown face. Armies of revolution crossed the time field, the clouds' unending march besieged the world. Tempests, pronunciamentos claimed the sky, and thunder drums announced the embattled gods.
A
A
traveler
traveler from unquiet neighboring seas, the dense maned monsoon road neighing through earth's hours, Thick, now the emissary javelins, enormous lightnings split the horizon's rim, and hurled from the quarters as from contending camps, married heaven's edges, steep and bare and blind. A surge and hiss, an onset of huge rain, the long straight sleet drift, clamors of winged storms charge, through the wind faces, rushing of wind feet, hurryings swept through the brown afflicted plains, heaven's waters trailed and dribbled through the drowned land. Then all was a swift stride, a sibilant race, for all was tempest shout and waters fall. A dimness sagged on the grey floor of day, its dingy sprawling length joined morn to eve, wallowing in sludge and shower it reached black dark. Day, hard darkness, wore as its dull dress. Light looked into dawn's tarnished glass and met its own face there, twinned to a half-lit night's downpour and drip and sleeping mist swayed all and turned the dry soil to bog and reeking mud. Earth was a quagmire, heaven a dismal block. None saw through damp, drenched weeds the dungeon sun. Even when no turmoil vexed air's sombre rest, or a faint ray glimmered through weeping clouds, as a sad smile gleams veiled by the turning tears, all promised brightness failed at once, denied, or soon condemned, died like a brief-lived hope.
So that is how the discussion goes on.
There is when you read, there is a song.
You have to read the sound.
It's like a song. No? Song.
Yeah,
Music. Yes.
but the accents are important.
Yeah, of
Accents
course.
are important for poetry reading.
It's beautiful.
See, if you read 2 or 3 times, you will get the rhythm. Same passage. Now that we have done this 30-40 lines, you read 3 or 4 times, and then read aloud also 3 or 4 times. You suddenly get the grip of the whole thing.
Can we do the last sentence of the rain? There's one sentence
There
left.
is one more.
9350.
Yeah.
16.
16, yeah. Or only a whisper and green toss of trees.
No, then
Oh,
last.
we missed that last.
Yeah,
That's
sentence.
also part of the
Yeah,
rain, no?
right.
Yeah.
Yes, last sentence. Then a last massive deluge crashed.
Dead mire.
Dead mire.
Then a last massive deluge thrashed dead mire, and a subsiding mutter left still, all still, or only the muddy creep of singing floods, or only a whisper and green toss of trees. Well, that's right. Yes, summer, rainy season ends with 93.16.
Yes.
Yeah. Then osmosis stage, yeah.
Yeah.
See, here we can get some help from here. Then a last massive deluge thrashed dead mire. Dead mire, both of them are stress cerebrals, responding. It uses certain power. You see. Then a last massive deluge crashed dead mire, and a subsiding mutter left all still. See that quantity effect, all still, both of them are stress levels, all still, or only the muddy creep of sinking floods. are only a whisper and green toss of trees.
Really,
Pardon? Yeah, it goes. Yeah, it goes like that. It's true. Yeah, yeah. Are only a whisper and green toss of trees. It goes up and down. Same way, you see, if you see the whole passage also, long sentences, short sentences, very long sentences. See, it has a certain kind of a rhythm in the inspiration. The inspiration also moves in certain rhythm.
and
This is same edition, but with accent marks. Yeah. This is a slightly smaller print. So we meet on Saturdays at 4:30. All right.
Oh, no, we skip Tuesdays completely?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I will.
You want